Restraint chairs are a tool used to control inmates.
But increasingly, families and their lawyers say these chairs are leading to abuse, injury, and even death.
Yeah, tonight, Local 12's Dwayne Pullman investigates a case of a Cincinnati man who was discovered dead, still in the chair that had restrained him for hours.
Pierre Howell died alone, strapped into a restraint chair, just like this one, in a cell at the Hamilton County Justice Center.
He was thrown away in a cell. It's a terrible, terrible, terrible tragedy.
So tragic, attorney Ryan McGraw says Pierre's family can't talk about it.
They're just not ready to grapple with that.
McGraw, who represents the family, filed this wrongful death lawsuit in federal court, claiming the Hamilton County Sheriff and staff were deliberately indifferent in Pierre's care.
Both the jailers and the nursing staff.
To understand what happened, you have to look inside the jail. And because we obtained security video, part of the evidence filed in the case, we can show you. According to jail records, on December 9th, 2018 at 5 p.m., Pierre got into a physical altercation with his cellmate. In the video, you can see officers escorting Pierre out of the pod after that fight. At 5:06 p.m., Pierre is led down a hallway, and he begins to repeatedly collapse. Eventually, officers drag him to an elevator, throw him in a wheelchair, and take him, with his feet dragging on the floor, to the medical unit. That's important because Pierre suffered from sickle cell disease, a chronic, debilitating, and painful condition triggered by stress. Jail staff knew that. According to the lawsuit, 2 days before he died, Pierre reported he was experiencing pain arising out of his sickle cell disease. In the medical unit, the overhead camera shows a wide view, but when we zoom in, the video clearly reveals Pierre repeatedly slumping and falling to the floor. While there's no sound on these recordings, in statements, jail and medical staff confirm Pierre was yelling, moaning, and groaning in pain. According to the lawsuit, the nurse in charge knew that Pierre had sickle cell disease, yet she felt Pierre was experiencing a mental health issue and was being non-compliant with medical care. And the call was made to get the restraint chair. That's the restraint chair being rolled in as Pierre lies on the floor in pain. Within minutes, 8 corrections officers surround Pierre, picking him up and strapping him in, immobilizing his body. Now helpless, Pierre is rolled out of medical at 5:43 p.m. and taken to Cell 6 in Pod A in the psychiatric unit. According to court records, Pierre would remain in that restraint chair alone in Cell 6 for more than 4 hours. Corrections officers reported in official logs that they conducted required routine checks on Pierre. But the security video reveals more than a dozen of those checks did not happen.
He was supposed to be evaluated every 10 minutes.
Was he?
Absolutely not. In fact, they falsified records claiming that they checked on him.
In its motion for summary judgment, the county insists there was no wrongful death and no deliberate indifference. But the county admits those official logs are wrong, stating officers checked on Howell, but not every 10 minutes as documented on their logs, conceding that is a violation of jail policy. When officers actually observed Pierre, he was noted to be awake for the first hour and 45 minutes. Then they reported Howell appeared to be sleeping. At 9:45, when officers went into Cell 6 to remove Pierre from the restraint chair, he was already dead. An autopsy by the Hamilton County Coroner's Office concluded Pierre died from organ failure due to a sickle cell crisis following a physical altercation. He was 33 years old.
He died alone in a cell, strapped to a chair where he couldn't move.
Absolutely. It makes no sense to us as to why he was ever put in the chair based on his condition.